Hello, everybody. It's Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and my guest, one of the producers. She's not happy. She's not happy about Goldberg coming back, and quite frankly, neither am I. Now, I want to say that this is, of course, based on an interview that he did with Jonathan Coachman on SportsCenter, and you got the rumors because Goldberg is part of WWE 2K17 that they might be possibly trying to angle for him to have a return match, maybe a one-off, maybe a few matches, but at least one. So it's like it pretty much seems like almost a lock because Heyman kind of is issuing a warning to Goldberg about not messing with Lesnar. So, alright, so there are rumors that it could be happening in Survivor Series. It shouldn't be a done deal, and it almost seems like with WWE hyping all this stuff and talking about Goldberg's in-ring return, a possible in-ring return, and talking more about him on WWE.com, would that be something that would interest people, or is it going to happen? Let me just say this much. Goldberg apparently wants to wrestle because he got a young son, and he wants to show his son what his dad did. Okay, that part I have no issue with. He wants to do something nice for his son. He wants to show, hey, this is what daddy used to do. Fine. Okay, that's great. And, it's great that Goldberg, is being a good dad and everything. He's obviously been keeping busy and has been being a good family man while doing a whole bunch of projects. I have zero effing interest in Goldberg returning to the ring. I mean, I'm sorry. His last WWE match was WrestleMania 20 versus Brock Lesnar in Madison Square Garden, where both guys should have, if they weren't both going to quit, they should have been fired right on the spot for the abysmal effort that they gave right in front of a big hometown crowd, Madison Square Garden, WWE's Mecca, where a lot of Vince McMahon Sr. Got a lot of his buzz from. Obviously Vince's dad, and where Vince made his home for a while, and while touring in the Northeast and even national, but Madison Square Garden was the Mecca. It was where WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 20 was at. And obviously they haven't had any WrestleManias there since, even with all the new seats and whatever. It's still a smaller venue, and would be a bit of a downgrade considering where Vince wants to go, especially I think since WrestleMania 22. That was the last one that was in any kind of small arena. It was in Chicago, which was a great Mania, by the way. But now he wants to go for the lavish crowds. So ever since from 23 on, it's just been bigger crowds and bigger crowds and bigger crowds. So okay, the whole point is you have Goldberg versus Lesnar. First off, I haven't had really any interest in a Lesnar match for about a year and a half. I can't really name any great performance besides at the Royal Rumble, the 2015 Rumble, where it was Lesnar, Cena, and Rollins in that triple threat. And that was a great triple threat, but Rollins was like throwing himself around like crazy. And Cena was good, and don't get me wrong, Lesnar was good too. But I agree with what Dean Ambrose said on his interview in the Stone Cold podcast. Lesnar is basically lazy. To me, he's lazy. It's not that the guy isn't in a great shape. It's not that the guy isn't in phenomenal condition. Roids or not. But it's not that he's not in good condition. Not that he's not a really good athlete. But I have not gotten the impression he's been motivated for at least a year and a half. If not possibly since, SummerSlam 2014 when he won the title. From Cena, mauling him and everything. So Lesnar, whatever. I mean, it's like Lesnar is like 38, 39 now, I think, or he's going to be 39 pretty soon, but I believe he's 38. And it's just, okay, so why would I be interested in seeing a guy that at 24, well, yes, 26, because this was 2004, his last WWE match happened. Why would I be interested in that? His last match against Goldberg, that is. Why would I be interested in Goldberg versus Lesnar 12 and a half years later when the first time, I don't care if both were out of their way out of the company, Lesnar suddenly decided he wanted to go try football and was tired of the schedule, and Goldberg, his contract is up and he didn't want to renew. I don't care what those circumstances were. Those guys gave an abysmal effort. I have no desire to watch it again. And Goldberg, who, by the way, was never a great worker. I mean, the best matches he had in WCW were against guys like DDP. I mean, his match against Hogan wasn't a great match, but Hogan put him over proper and everything, so there was that. He had decent matches. I mean, he had a decent match against Kevin Nash in '99, but where Nash did a leapfrog and shockingly didn't tear his quad. But seriously, this is the best you can do? I mean, with the brand split, you were supposed to be giving younger talent, newer talents, younger and newer. And I say younger and newer because I can't say younger and say AJ Styles, because AJ Styles is almost 40. And, same with Samoa Joe. I mean, even though he's on NXT, and Nakamura, and Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, whatever. Same with Austin Aries and a few others. I mean, there are a few others. But AJ Styles in particular, because he's somebody who's new to WWE audiences. He's only been on WWE TV for about 9 months. You're supposed to feature more guys like, now, yeah, he's a WWE champion. But my thing is, okay, if you have Lesnar versus Goldberg, if, say, Shane wants to get revenge on Lesnar for what he did at SummerSlam, he brings in Goldberg. Okay, that'll pop the SmackDown ratings for a bit, but at what expense? You're already not using guys like Cruz well. You're already not using a lot of guys that well. Ziggler may be on his way out. But there are young guys like the vaudevillains you keep burying. The Ascension is not really anything. And I'm not saying Goldberg doesn't have name value. He does. He obviously has plenty of name value. But he's like 46, 47 years old. Why in the world would I be interested in watching a guy that wasn't that good when he was in WWE before? Why would I want to watch him now? I mean, my God, it's like the guy can be in the best shape of his life. He could be leaner. He could be, but still muscly. He could be, he could be faster. Or at least in his mind he could be faster. Unless he suddenly learned how to execute a damn wrestling maneuver, I can't really imagine a Goldberg would be that interesting. I mean, yeah, okay, he did the rolling leg lock at one point. He did a couple moves, and he could do some stuff. He was only in the power plant for a little bit in WCW, going back to the beginning of his career. He's only in the power plant for a little bit before they put him on Nitro. Didn't really have much of a chance to learn the business and do all that stuff and whatever. But then, and I'm never going to forgive Goldberg for injuring Bret Hart. And yeah, that's why I'm wearing a Bret Hart t-shirt, because it's a bit of a rant. Why would I be interested in watching, Goldberg, who is careless as hell? I mean, he wasn't that good in WWE. They should have still given him the title at the Elimination Chamber at SummerSlam 03. Because at least that would have been better. They killed off any momentum that he had when Triple H beat him. Because that's what Triple H did from 2002 to 2004, was just bury people. But Goldberg never looked motivated. He just never did. It's like he couldn't really work long matches. Even, The Rock tried to get the best match out of him. He wasn't in the Elimination Chamber long. He worked a bit of a long match against Jericho at Bad Blood 2003. But I just can't name any marquee match that he had where he worked a lengthy amount of time and he was able to really look good. And he was able to not look gassed and not look confused. Not as confused as he did against William Regal or Steven Regal on February 9th or 16th, 1998. It's one of the two. I think it's February 9th. But he didn't look that bad. But why? Why now? I mean, okay, it's like, Vince, are you that dense that you don't realize that if you had pushed younger talent sooner and not just focused on Roman Reigns, because that didn't work the way you were pushing him, if you actually pushed younger talent and kept stuff going, because yeah, Rollins was the champion last year, booked like crap, kept losing and losing. I mean, he didn't lose the pay-per-view matches, but kept losing and losing. You had Cena as the U.S. champion, which, okay, fine, that, fostered some good matches. It should have, fostered a win for Kevin Owens as far as that feud, but Owens is a Universal Champion now by Finn Balor's injury or whatever, so it's worked. You have all these young talents that you could use, or newer talents, and you're going to go back to Goldberg, who, by the way, said, in a 2009-2010 interview that he wouldn't work for you if you were the last mother effer on the planet. I mean, really. Now, granted, Vince has taken plenty of guys back, like Warrior. God, he took Warrior back so many times. Warrior, Hogan, Hall, Nash. He's taken back a lot of people that didn't treat him right, whatever, or, that he had issues with. So Goldberg's no different. This could lead to Goldberg going into the Hall of Fame next year, and I would be fine with that. Goldberg, for all the shit, the stuff I'm talking about Goldberg, whatever, I don't care if I swear. For all the stuff I talk about Goldberg, for his WCW run, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because of the simple fact that he was able to be the flag bearer and the the flag bearer for WCW and do great things and, pop a lot of ratings, even if WCW at that point was starting to flounder. He kept WCW afloat. They were even competitive into 99. Like, even into September of 99. And then everything just dipped. And I'm not saying that was on Goldberg. That was on WCW not knowing what to do. But why? Why now? Why at 46, 47 years old, nearly 50, whatever, am I going to watch Goldberg? Am I going to be interested like, ooh, look, it's Goldberg. Who's next? AARP? I don't know. Who's next? How about you get a cane and go walk somewhere and, go into the retirement home? I know the 47's not old. But the guy wasn't any good in his prime. He was put with the right guys, had the it factor, had the look, and had a lot of power. Don't get me wrong, he drew a lot of fans, drew a lot of money, and had his niche. He was a niche performer that could not exceed his limitations, no matter how hard he tried. And unfortunately, when he was asked to go past his limitations, he couldn't without the right guy. DDP got a great match out of him, and others that I mentioned. So am I interested in watching Goldberg wrestle again? No. And at least not wrestle Lesnar. If they wanted to have Goldberg versus somebody like Rusev, and Rusev beats him, okay, fine. You at least have somebody fresh. Going back to Lesnar, it's like, oh, there's unfinished business. There ain't no unfinished business. You guys shit the damn bed in Madison Square Garden. You guys should have never been allowed in WWE again for doing that. On live pay-per-view. A house show would have been one thing. But on the big flagship show, WrestleMania, the 20th edition, not the 20th anniversary. That would have been WrestleMania 21. Semantics, insanity. Why in the world would I be interested in watching him now? So, Goldberg versus Lesnar, if it happens in Survivor Series, will I watch? Absolutely, because I watch WWE pay-per-views. But am I going to watch with any excitement? No, because I don't care about either of these guys. Neither of these guys are going to put on a very interesting match. Unless you're going to make it no-holds-barred and they're just going to beat each other senseless with chairs and stuff. Neither guy does really any wrestling moves at all. I mean, Lesnar does the suplexes, might do the Kimura lock, and then might sit, and then sit down on the Kimura lock because he's, too lazy. Goldberg, spear, jackhammer, that's it. I can't see how this match is going to be interesting. So that's my thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, comment, and subscribe as always. Follow me on Twitter at the link in the description. It's been Real Aussie with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.